Hey guys, it's me, your girl Stasia Star. Welcome back to StasiaStarDaily, your go-to place for everything makeup, beauty, fashion, love and relationships, the level up journey, and anything that maintains and pertains to the modern day woman. So, as stated in previous videos, I have launched the new inventory and accessories as well as spiritual wellness tools on my shop, www.rebelheart.com. Please feel free to check it out if you're interested. All that information will be in the description. In today's video, I have on the full collection of the Protect Your Energy bangle set. And I also have on our rose quartz pink beaded bracelet set and our amethyst and our single rose quartz bracelet. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. I'm wearing the Celestial Burst earrings. And just for video purposes, I'm showing you guys another favorite pair of my shades from the site. These are the black Geo Block shades in the color black. But okay, ladies, let's get into the topic for today's video. So today's video is going to be focusing around some of the positive aspects that you can draw from your childhood. Now, in my previous video where I spoke about why women should not seek male validation, I spoke about how negative and traumatic experiences that many women may face in childhood can ultimately impact their life, their friendships, their relationships, as well as just how they move about in society. With that being said, I also think that sometimes people fail to pay attention to the positive things that we draw from our childhood. The good times, memories, experiences, and all the lessons that you learn as a child really help you to reach your goals and live a successful and happy life. That being said, the topic of today's video is remembering that girl. How inner child inspiration fuels your glow up. Your inner child holds the blueprint to your higher self. She's not just a distant memory, she's your guide to unlocking your true potential. In this video, we're going to discuss how to honor her, learn from her, how to let her innocence and curiosity unlock you to your next level. We're going to tap into those early lessons and see how we can use that knowledge to become more powerful and wise. Let's get into 5 different points about how to draw inspiration from your inner child. Point number 1, bravery. So for point number 1, I'm going to share with you guys a few stories from my own childhood. And actually through the duration of this video, I'm going to be pulling on different memories from my upbringing to really solidify these points. So I grew up in the 90s. I have 2 older sisters and a little brother, but my brother wasn't born until I was 4 years old. So for the first 4 years of my life, it was just me and my 2 older sisters. And I was definitely that annoying, scrawny, overly nerdy, overly talkative, tattletale little sister. My sisters literally didn't want anything to do with me. You know, I was always snitching on them. I was always starting trouble. We were always fighting, and I was always getting hurt, and my parents were always shielding me. I was definitely the little young spoiled one until my brother came along. But with that being said, it felt like my older sisters were so much older than me growing up. Now we're only a few years apart, but as you can see in childhood, a few years really seems like a lifetime. So for the majority of my childhood, I shared a room with my older sister, and then my oldest sister had her own room, and then when my little brother was born, he had his own room, and my parents had their room. So as a child, I was incredibly afraid of the dark. Me and my sister Cheyenne shared a room, and I can remember like a series of nights when my sister Cheyenne would just leave me in the middle of the night. As long as my sister was in the room with me sleeping in her bed, I would be okay to sleep in the dark. But if I woke up in the middle of the night and my sister went to go sleep with my parents or with my other sister Diva, I literally would have a nightmare, a panic attack. I would see monsters hidden in the closet and I would not be able to go back to sleep. And so I literally remember, and this is one of my earliest memories, I had to be maybe 4 years old. My brother was probably a baby or he was just born. So I literally remember this like yesterday. It was a series of nights that I kept waking up and having nightmares, and I kept waking up and my sister Cheyenne was not in the room. And so I almost, at this young age of either 3 or 4 years old, I got sick and tired of being afraid of the dark. Honestly, I just wanted to go to sleep. And my mom has always been very spiritual and religious, but at this time I was so young. I know my mom always prayed and talked about God, but this was really my first memory of my first introduction into my relationship with God. I remember profoundly closing my eyes, laying in my bed, and looking at the ceiling in darkness. And this is exactly what I said, and these words have stayed with me all these years. I said, let me try this God thing. And this story always makes me emotional, but I'm not going to cry. And if I do, I'm going to edit it out. But I said to myself, let me try this God thing. And I remember when I said that, I literally felt like someone was sitting next to me. So I closed my eyes and I asked God to remove my fear of the dark. I said, God, if you help me not to be afraid of the dark, if you help me to never have another nightmare, because I used to have terrible nightmares. Like, I would wake up sweating, having panic attacks. And I said, God, if you help me to never have a nightmare again, I will devote the rest of my life to you. And I will always talk to you about any decision I make. And from that very moment in my life, I never had a nightmare again. Now, as I became a spiritualist and an energy reader, I started getting messages through my dreams, which is probably what was happening early on because I've always had gifts. But from that moment, I've never had a scary dream that magnitude as I did as a child. Now, if I have a dream, they're somewhat prophecies, or they're honestly information that I believe God and my ancestors are telling me about myself or about the people around me. But I've literally never had a very, very scary dream ever since that moment. And since that moment, for the rest of my life, I have always been in communication with God in my head. I kind of made God my best friend. I would talk to God all day, every day. I would ask God, what do you think I should do? What should I do about that? Am I good enough for this? Should I try that? And that literally was established with me, this relationship that has lived with inside of me ever since I was a child. I don't think anybody knows that about me. A lot of people don't understand how I don't really seek the counsel of others. I'm typically the one giving advice. I don't really go to people if I have issues. I don't really seek the opinions of others. I have always turned within and to God since I was a child. Overcoming this fear taught me a very valuable lesson. It taught me how to be still, how to be alone, and most importantly, how to trust God and how to trust myself. Through this, I established an unshakable bond with both myself and the divine. That same bravery now helps me face any obstacle with peace, trust, and power. Point number 2. Optimism. When I was young, I always looked forward to the good things. I always thought on the bright side. Whether it be a party at school, a birthday, a holiday, or summer break, I was always thinking about something positive that was yet to come. I consider myself to foundationally be a very positive person. I've always thought that better things are ahead of me, and I literally trained my mind to think like that as a child. Definitely an extroverted child, but I was also very intuitive and very introverted. I really would go within and consult with myself. Growing up, I had no 2 front teeth. My mom was very sick when she was breastfeeding me, and because of that, I didn't receive all the nutrients I needed. Because of such, my childhood teeth did not develop correctly. So I did not get my 2 front teeth until I was about 10 years old. And you can just imagine how much I was bullied. On top of that, I had eczema, I was nerdy, I was awkward, and I didn't have the nicest clothes or the nicest things. And I struggled a lot. I had friends, but a lot of people made fun of me. And it really used to get to me because I was small and I felt like I couldn't defend myself. But I'll tell you what, that's where I learned that I had a mouth on me. I tell the story about being bullied in my childhood because my positive thinking was how I got out of that. I always would look forward to something. Say I had a bad day at school where someone said something mean to me, I would be thinking about the pizza party on Saturday. The whole ride home on the school bus, I would be thinking about how happy I would be at the pizza party, all the food I was gonna eat, and how I needed to get good grades throughout the whole week so that I could attend the party. This has literally been a way that I've thought my entire life. It didn't really hit me until I got older and understood that I've always been manifesting the life of my desired. I never focused on what was making me sad in the moment. I would let the feelings and emotions pass, but I wouldn't dwell on them. I wouldn't focus on them. I would find something to fuel me, something to get me excited, really alchemize that negativity into positivity. Through this practice, I learned at a very young age to live in the end of the manifestation that I desired. If I wanted something to happen, I would think about it, visualize it, and focus my energy on that. I would also do the actions, like in the story of the pizza party, of getting good grades so that I could go and enjoy the fruits of my labor. This has literally been a foundation of the way that I think and move throughout life. I'm very, very thankful and very grateful that I was able to do this as a child, because I know that positive thinking is something that adults struggle with all the time. This day, I choose hope and joy. I keep that childlike excitement very close to my heart, and I allow it to push me forward no matter what I may go through. Point number 3, passions. From a young age, I was in love with music, fashion, art, dance, creativity. Those passions helped me to express myself and to be creative and to show the world who I truly was. Up in a time where I was kind of awkward, different, and maybe a little bit too advanced for my own good, a lot of people just didn't understand me and misjudged me, and that has been a theme throughout my entire life. And through art, I was able to express who I truly was and how I felt on the inside. Spent hours rehearsing, recording in studios, practicing dance moves, doing recitals, learning about fashion and different things that interested me. Doing so, I built confidence and self-discipline. I was a dancer for almost all of my childhood. It actually was my dream for a very long time to be a professional dancer. I stopped dancing around the age of 16 because I had been dancing for my whole life. Honestly, I just wanted to be a teenager and have fun. But because I was so committed to dance, because I had a passion, I learned that if I wanted something, I had to practice and I had to be disciplined in it. There were many times when I would stay after school for hours to rehearse dances over and over again. But honestly, it made me one of the best dancers that I knew. I won many awards and I truly loved being on stage. And I carry that discipline with me to this very day, both in my own life, but also in my professional life. I believe that's one of the reasons why I've been so successful and able to obtain so many things on my own, because I know how to get focused and get in my bag. Point number 4. Forever learning. I've always been curious. I've always been a geek and a nerd. I love science, history, math, and sociology. I've always been curious about why people do the things they do and what influences their behavior. Curiosity has turned me into a natural learner. I realized at a very young age that I can teach myself anything I want to know. I fell in love with reading, researching, and watching documentaries. My mindset has made me independent, sharp, and confident in my ability to find things out. I say that to tell you guys, don't ever think you're too old to learn something new. The world is the endless possibilities of knowledge at your fingertips. And last but not least, point number 5. Show up every day as the girl I dreamed to be. Growing up, I didn't have everything I wanted. I loved fashion and I loved nice things. My mom had 4 kids and she was super old school and she just was not going for that. Because of this, I had to get creative. Couldn't afford name brand clothes or really lavish outfits, so I made my own style with what I had. My passion for fashion and art pushed me to work hard, think creatively, and to create a lifestyle that no one would ever be able to tell me no. As early as I can remember, I visualized the woman I wanted to become. I remember when I was in high school, I think it was 9th grade, I wrote a letter to my future self. I said I wanted to be a business owner, a businesswoman, have a professional corporate career, live in a really nice area, travel when I wanted to, and dress in lavish clothing. I also said that I wanted to become a lawyer at some point and that I wanted to record music. And the crazy thing is that I have done many of the things that I visualized as a child, and I'm still following out those dreams today. And honestly, that is why fashion is so important to me. Not only am I in love with the art that fashion is, but I also feel like fashion is one of my greatest connections to my inner child. I was the little girl who would go into their mom's closet, try on her shoes, makeup, and blazers, and I was always dreaming of living this life as I got older. And so every single day when I get dressed, I feel like I'm dressing my inner child. I do it for the little girl who dreamed big, no matter what people told her. Every bold look, risk that I take, every goal that I chase is for her. I do it for the girl that never stopped believing in herself. Her grit got me here. I'll never stop showing up for her. And so let's get into the call of action activity for this video. This week, I want you to pick an activity or an outfit that would really speak to your inner child. Maybe it's something sparkly, bold, or dramatic, or maybe it's you taking a paint class that reminds you of your art teacher from 3rd grade. Put it on and go somewhere, or sign up for that class. Then I want you to look into the mirror and say, "We made it. Thank you for dreaming this into existence." Then, if you feel called to, you can journal on your experience of that day. How does my inner child want to be seen and expressed? And how can I honor that as an adult? Now, let's get into the affirmation for this video. I show up for the little girl who dared to dream beyond her reality. Her fire, vision, and creativity has made me who I am. Alright guys, I hope this message resonated for some of you guys out there. Let me know in the comments on what positive things from your childhood you still carry today with you as an adult. As always, sending love and light and God's protection, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Thank you and God bless.